that you have to put out. You have to get past that. Oh, it's going to cost me so much. It's the cost of ownership that you really have to take to heart. Because running incandescent light for 34 years, it's going to cost a lot of money. And on my website I have a calculator that you can plug in your existing light, how much power it takes, put in the replacement for it, put in how many hours per day, how many days per week, like if you're running a store. And it'll come up, do a graph of the cost of the light, the total cost of your lights because of the prices in it, versus the cost of running electricity. So yeah, incandescents will start down here, LEDs will start here, but you start going up over time and they cross over pretty quick. Right? And the crossover point is where you're now getting free. They've paid for themselves. You know, I just did an audit for a coffee shop that they're open something like 16, 17 hours a day. The lights were going to cost her like $1,400. Right, $1,400. 9 months to pay for themselves. And they'll still last for 5 or 6 years. And cost of ownership. Just want to make sure I explain everything here as much as I can. If you're a technical person, another fault or downfall on compact fluorescence is the power factor. Power factor is how well the light absorbs the energy that you put into it, and some of it gets reflected back to the power company. Okay, incandescent lights are a 1. Everything that's put in goes in, nothing's reflected back. Compact fluorescents are like 0.6 to 0.7. So, you know, 40% of the power that's coming into your meter is actually getting bounced back, and the power company has to deal with that and actually generate more electricity, ramp up their system to deal with this. And it works out, and it's not too bad for you because the power meters that are on your house can't read power factor. So you're saving, the power company is cranking up the power to run all these lights. Although you're saving some, but not like what it's coming up to be. LEDs, they have the power supply, they're closer to at least 9. I don't want to buy anything under 0.9 up to 0.95, so it's fairly close. A lot, like I said, that's the technical stuff, and I'm a technical person, so put that in there. Another thing that, if you're concerned about your heating costs in your house, or your warehouse, or your store, and you talk about the lights, and you say, well, that's reducing the cost of my heating bill. Well, not really, because the cost of heating your house or store with natural gas is cheaper than heating it with electricity. Right? And in the summertime, when you've got the air conditioning going, then you're fighting. You know, you got to pay for that. You know, in the last place I worked, in their showroom, they had 150-watt bulbs running all day long. Right? That's 5,000 watts. So, you know, that's good heat in the wintertime. You can use it, but it's more expensive. In the summertime, that's like having a 5,000 watt heater sitting there on the floor, running all day long. Air conditioners up there running all day long, trying to suck out the heat that you just generated, right? So by substituting LEDs lights into his showroom, from 5,000 watts down to under 900 watts, you know, and that's, you can double that saving because air conditioning in the summertime, you don't have to suck that heat out. If you're concerned about maintenance, you know, you get into a store, lights going out, you're always replacing the lights because you want customers to look professional. You want all your lights on. It doesn't look good to have 1 or 2 out here or in there and stuff like that. So, if you can also Google on Google, there's a video out there of them changing a light bulb in a hotel. It took 4 people 20 minutes to change 1 light bulb. Okay, how much did that cost, you know? How much was the light bulb, a $10 light bulb or something like that? You know? But it was in the foyer, so they had to move all the furniture away, bring in the scaffolding, and go up there, change the light bulb, and bring it all down, and, you know, cost of maintenance. Some of the stores in town, I know, they go in and change all the fluorescent lights once a year. If they're burnt out or not, they change all the lights. Because they are going to die. You know? So I suppose all those lights get thrown in the garbage. And what is the environmental impact on that? Like, oof. Well, one of my best friends is a paraplegic in a wheelchair. Kind of hard for him to change a light bulb, right? You know, depending on somebody else. So if you can change a light bulb once and it's good for 30 years, it's a good investment for him because he may have to pay somebody, right? Hotel rooms, the museum across the way here, with all the spotlights, they re-lamp every 6 months. Yeah.
Could you change them to LED lights because
They're
they do a
investigating
specialty?
and testing right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because those lights would last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And it's a better quality light. It has a more even pattern. The other lights, you can see like it'll be a dark spot and light spots, and then there's where the element is inside the light. It's very subtle, but you can see it.
Yeah.
When you put it up against a white wall, you can see it. The other benefit for them is there's no ultraviolet light. You're deteriorating your artifacts. Disposal of the lights. The LEDs themselves, there are no chemicals inside. The main object in here is aluminum, some plastic, which isn't the greatest thing, but we don't have mercury or other chemicals, you know, the sodium. Even the high pressure metal halides that are in warehouses, inside of there is actually some mercury in those too. Right? So again, we talked about that. Those lights, 95% are probably going to the landfill.
So if you accidentally break one, you don't have to evacuate your home for 15 minutes and then put on a mask and gloves to clean it up? No.
Break them?
Oh, they don't break?
They don't break. No, they don't. Oh, it's a great show to go up to a person and drop them like just before them. They just freak because, oh man, you know. But this is plastic, aluminum.
And that's on a concrete floor too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the fun I have. We talked about the cost of lights, and I get asked all the time, well, is the cost going to go down? I said, well, it's hard to tell. There's about 3 factors right now that are affecting the price of the lights. Number one is, it's a new technology, evolving, and the early adapters, no matter what it is, you know, CD players. I remember when CD players, my roommate bought one, it was $1,000, right? So you pick up CD players for 20 bucks now, right? So they may come down, but we've got, I'll just get back to that. The thing I've got here is, I believe the rate, this energy saving that you're going to save in 1 year is going to be much greater than the rate that it's going to go down. So it's better to buy them now, start saving that energy and your money, and don't worry about what it's going to cost down the road. In 5 years or 20 years, when the light does die, you will be able to get them cheap. Right? The other factors that are affecting the price right now is there's actually a shortage of the chips, because it's a growing market, the demand is there, the manufacturers are under pressure to try and keep inventory and that, so that's keeping the price up on the chips themselves. The third thing is that probably at least 90% of the lights are actually made in Asia. And now Asia is becoming one of the dominant economic players in the world, and they're getting wiser. They want what they deserve. They're putting more demand on getting higher wages, which of course reflects back to cost of the lights. So if you're interested in doing the environmental thing, saving energy, do the investment, you might as well take advantage of it now. The other faults, yeah, I had a list here. You know, you have to be fair. What are the disadvantages of lights? The initial cost is number one, right? Number two, shortage. Number three, one of the issues that I have to do lots of research on is trying to find LEDs that are very omnidirectional. The light comes out in all directions, because that's what we're used to. A lot of the fixtures are designed that way, right? You know, even this one, this side does a fairly good job, but it's still dominantly in the forward. So the wall behind it or ceiling behind it won't be as well lit. But there's new designs coming out all the time, because that is a fault. You know, the designs are changing and improving. The light fixtures are working with that as well. So that will be coming. Another hazard that I've realized too is if you go to a really cool one, like the 6,000 or 7,000 degrees, because they can get so bright,